All right, everyone, you're probably hearing some of the reports about LGBTQ acceptance declining among the youth. That is, when you compare Gen Z to millennials, acceptance of, gay and lesbian stuff is lower. But that's a little bit misleading. I'm going to try to explain exactly what's happening, and it's obvious what is happening, and you're not going to get this from Salon because they don't want to admit to it. What's actually happening is not that people are becoming homophobic or whatever. I guess acceptance among millennials is like 70 some odd percent. It's quite high. Among Gen Z, it's like 50-50. Part of this is due nothing more than the fact that now that gay rights have been enshrined, so like for millennials, gay rights hadn't been enshrined when we were young, when we were like teenagers and stuff. And so the idea was we were sort of fighting the power. It was anti-establishmentarian in order to be pro-gay rights because it wasn't the law of the land. Now it is. Gen Z is being raised in a world where in the United States, gay marriage is legal, gay rights are enshrined, you're not allowed to randomly harass people for being homosexual or bisexual or whatever. They're living in a world where the powers that be that are always fought against by the youth are pro-gay. There's going to be, therefore, a discrepancy, definitely, at least for a generation or two, on that issue, as opposed to millennials. It's not like things aren't unidirectional. By the way, this totally defeats the argument of people on the right who have said for years to me now, well, if this happens, pretty soon it'll be illegal to be straight and stuff like that. No, it's a self-modulating process. Everything is within politics. There's no such thing as a one-directional system within politics. Everything is a roundabout. You're thinking one-dimensionally. At least broaden your horizons a little bit. It's a three-dimensional sort of political framework we live in. Things can move in literally any direction at any time, sometimes with very little outside stimulus. So what's happened is, first and foremost, millennials still think of themselves as the young generation. Sometimes it's really funny to hear because we're in, our late 20s through late 30s now, I think. Is the cutoff 36 or 7 or something like that? Like, I'm right in the middle of the millennials. I'm 31. I don't know where the cutoff is. I know it goes down to like 24, 25 or something. So Gen Z is living in a world that's different. Number 2 is rebellion against the millennials. Millennials have become a whiny, self-righteous, far-left generation, and Gen Z is lashing out at us a little bit. Not at me, but against most millennials. It's funny because I'm like the black sheep of the fucking millennial generation. It's really funny to be on this side of politics, which is I'm a libertarian, classically liberal, not a member of the LP, fiscally conservative. I don't really socially give a fuck. I'm more like a standard millennial on gay rights. The other thing that I would say to you, and this is obvious to people who I think have common sense, but they don't want to talk about it because they're afraid of getting called homophobic. The other part of it is that opportunists, either pretending to be gay or being gay and just really, really fucking far out there, have taken what initially was a movement. Originally, gay rights a la the millennial generation was like, hey, gay people are the same as you, treat people with respect. Here's the dude in his t-shirt and blue jeans. You would never know to look at him that he's gay. That was basically how it was presented. It's basically live and let live, leave people alone. Now gay pride has stepped in, and it's, people with glitter and a dildo stuck to their forehead. That's the way it's organized. That's the way it's portrayed publicly now is totally different than how it was portrayed 15, 20 years ago. Then it was stop hitting us, stop throwing us in jail, let us live our lives, be normal just like you. Let me get married, let me do this, and live my life, be who I want to be and who I am from birth. Let me be gay and it's fine. Now it's not only am I going to do that, but I'm totally fucking weird here. Look at me in my rainbow colored clothes. And you see pictures of people, and this is used as propaganda as well, with like dildos strapped to their body, and people at these pride events that are not part of the normal, like the LGBT corpus. You have people dressed in bondage gear, pretending to be animals, and you have, drag queen story hour, and you have Lactatia, and you have stuff like that. If you combined that in with what would formerly be just, hey, I'm gay and leave me alone, yes, acceptance of that is going to go down. Of course it's going to go down. Yes, acceptance of grown men walking around on all fours barking at small children, or of people, sexualizing children or things of that. Yes, acceptance of that, I would hope, is going to be lower. That's the way that it is. But it doesn't have to even be part of that movement. What's happened is a purity spiral of sorts. And this is because of the political side. This isn't because of, be accepting of gay people. Like, this isn't a gay marriage issue anymore. Gay marriage is already legal. This has become a political sub-movement. What's happened is that a political component has hijacked the initial gay rights movement and tacked on a bunch of other social issues that have nothing to do with it. There's no similarity between, well, I should have the right to have my 10-year-old kid go into a bar and strip, basically. That has nothing to do with two gay consenting adults getting married. It has nothing to do with that situation. But it's been tacked on as a sub-social movement. And so if you're looking at the whole picture, and you're looking at the portrayal of LGBTQ as including those other things, yeah, acceptance of it's not going to be the same 70-75% it was several years ago. Wow, imagine that. People have a negative reaction to all this other bullshit that's been thrown in that has nothing to do with equal rights. That's the other part. Gay rights won. People who are gay or lesbian or bi or whatever have equal rights to anyone else. You can get a gay marriage now. You are not supposed to be, there's no doctrinal mistreatment of people for being homosexual. It's not relegated to mental illness. It doesn't prevent you from donating blood, although there are some that would argue that that was jumping the gun and that it doesn't make sense. All of these various things have changed over the last 20 years, such that a person who is a homosexual, if they're mistreated by some random homophobe, the homophobe's breaking the law. They're protected under the law the same as anyone else. There's no more fight to have. And so what's happened is that the gay pride element devolved from people saying, look, I'm just like you, I want to be able to live my life, to crazy shit. Crazy shit that has nothing to do with equal rights. It has nothing to do with any civic struggle because there's no more struggle to have. The struggle is over. The problem is, though, that the people that take part in activism have difficulty laying down the pitchforks and torches after they're done winning on a social issue. This has been the case before. Tea Party comes to the fore. They elect a bunch of people to the Senate and to the House. They stymie Obama's policies. They basically obstruct Obama for half a decade. That was their goal. But afterwards, did they go away or did they sort of change form? And then you get the Glenn Beck offshoot moralistic crowd. You get the Trump populist crowd. No, they just change form and they find a new activistic issue to work on. But if I'm fighting for gay rights, and gay rights are enshrined, I still want to fight for something. Wow, there's got to be some injustice out there. Oh, I know. People still think that it's odd if you take a tiara and soak it in AIDS blood and wear it down the street. People still think it's odd if you have a problem with grown men throwing money to a 10-year-old drag queen. But these are totally separate social issues. They have nothing to do with the initial struggle. It's a total, at the very least, it's several mutations that have occurred within that social struggle. That's why acceptance is lower. Because the gay rights movement that us millennials saw when we were young, this during our formative years that informed the rest of our lives politically and socially, was totally different than the one Gen Z is experiencing. It's not the same. There are millennials that don't understand this. They want to pretend it is the same. It's like the boomers talking about the economy. The economy has fundamentally changed on so many different fucking levels. Your pound, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, pound the pavement like I did. I put myself through college with a part-time job. You can't do it anymore. It's impossible. Nobody's whining. It's physically impossible. The same is true with regards to the gay rights issue. A la, again, the shift from like young Gen Z through the millennials through the young Gen X through the millennials to the new generation. And now you've got Generation Alpha coming along. They're getting old enough to go to kindergarten almost now. The times are changing. The social issue is not the same. The idea of LGBTQ is now a corporate product to be bought and sold. It's all sorts of flashy rainbow fucking colors. It's no longer about surviving AIDS. It's about drenching yourself in AIDS blood. It's no longer about equal rights. It's about additional rights. It's no longer about, hey, we're just like you, treat us with respect, we're your fellow Americans. It's, we're a totally separate group. Let us show you that every time we have a parade. It's a different situation. By the way, no, I don't give a shit if people march down the street in bondage gear and wave rainbow flags. I saw a gay pride parade in one of those towns west of Amsterdam. I thought it was hilarious. The first time, by the way, I've ever seen gay pride parades was in the Netherlands. I don't have a problem with it. But it's not the same as watching a bunch of people go before Congress and say, look, I've been attacked 4 times by the Klan in my small town over the last year alone because people think, that I'm gay, and my neighbor here has AIDS. He's not even gay. He gets mistreated and called, the F word all the time. That's a different social issue. It doesn't happen anymore. It's, yes, acceptance has declined. I wonder why. That's about all. Peace out.